This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
I'm sure we're going to talk about the GM run, but boy, there's a couple of highlights in there we got to touch on now. One of the big storylines very quickly is you had an illegitimate child in college. Of course, it was Jason Jordan. In hindsight, maybe not the best idea, but it was a way to highlight a new up and coming talent. What'd you think of the creative and what'd you think of Jason?
Well, I was excited because I wanted to pair up with Jason and Chad when they were tag team partners. And I wanted to wrestle and I wanted to be the world champion and have them be the tag team champions, just like Team Angle. And I thought it made a lot of sense. And they decided that I was going to have an illegitimate son and they weren't sure who it was going to be. And they decided to pick Jason over Chad. And, I think I'm not sure why, but, it might have been a politically correct move. But I was happy. I was excited about it because Jason is a great talent and he was improving every week. His chops were improving. His work was improving. He was getting a lot better. He was on his way to main event status until he hurt his neck. And that's where the program ended. And I was stuck high and dry without a partner for the next WrestleMania because that's who I was going to wrestle was Jason.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so they immediately paired me up with Baron Corbin. Baron was more of a bully. I was more of the victim. I didn't like that, but that's what they gave me. And the program was fine. I was okay with it. It was, it was a lot of fun to do. And Baron's a great talent. I didn't expect him to be my opponent at WrestleMania because at that time, I don't think he was at the level that he deserved to go into WrestleMania wrestling a Hall of Fame legend. And, even though afterward they utilized him pretty good, I think he won the King of the Ring after that and, was well on his way to main event status. So I think that my WrestleMania match ignited that.
So I guess that was probably the idea though, right? Vince wanted you to help get him over and help make him, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Vince wanted me to get him over. And that was the plan the whole time. I knew that. And, I was at the time when they told me, I was thinking that this is going to be my last match and I'm going to retire. And I need to tell Vince. And if I want an opponent other than Baron, I need to tell him right now. So I went to his office and I said, I'm going to retire at WrestleMania, Vince. And I know you have a program planned with Baron, but I would like to have John Cena because I started his career and I'd want him to end mine. I thought it made a lot of sense.
Sure.
And he said, well, you're not doing that this year. You can possibly do it next year if you continue to wrestle for a year. And I said, well, no, I want to retire this year because my body's breaking down. And I just feel like I don't want to go on after that. I'm not able to perform at the level I expect to. And I'm not crazy about wrestling Baron only because of his status at the time. And don't get me wrong, Baron was a great worker and he was very professional. He was great to work with. But I just don't think at that time that he was at the level that needed to be for wrestling a main eventer or Hall of Famer.
I don't think I knew this wasn't always supposed to be your retirement match. So let's backtrack a little bit. Mm-hmm. If you were going to originally wrestle your quote unquote son, Jason Jordan, it wouldn't have been a retirement match. It would have been just father versus son, regular storyline. Let's keep going. But somewhere along the way, that creative has to change because Jason was injured. They pivot to Corbin, and that is sort of charted. And then you decide, not they, but you decide this needs to be my retirement match, right?
Well, when I came back and I got inducted in the Hall of Fame, I was wrestling a lot. I was staying active in the ring, especially when you get up in age in your late 40s and early 50s, you need to be active in the ring. Right. And if you're not, your body gets arthritic, your muscles get tight, you start shutting down, your body starts aging. And when I took the GM role, I didn't wrestle. I wrestled, I think, 3 times in 2 years. There wasn't a lot of wrestling. It was just, I think, a TLC match when I teamed up with the Shield.
Yeah.
Survivor Series 5-on-5 match. And then WrestleMania match with Ronda Rousey. So my being inactive for 2 years was really hard on my body. I was working out at the gym, but I wasn't taking bumps in the ring. And when you're out that long at the age I was, you age quicker and your body shuts down. And I knew at the time, this was right around when I was doing my farewell tour. Mm-hmm. And I gained a little bit of weight, and I was a little sloppy. So not being able to perform at the level I wanted to, I decided that I'm going to have to retire now. I can't go another year. And I also felt like the company wasn't really utilizing me at the level I wanted to be. I was more doing jobs than I was contributing. I mean, it is contributing, doing jobs, but when you're a Hall of Famer legend wrestler, you don't expect to lose that much. It was a humbling experience, but I do understand why, me being close to retirement, I need to put the younger guys over, and I understand that.
Talk to me about the general manager pitch. Is that part of the initial phone call with Vince, or does Carano or somebody else call and introduce the idea of being GM?
Actually, it occurred the night of the Hall of Fame, right before I went out to accept the award. Vince McMahon came into my locker room, the room they had set for me backstage. And he said, "Hey, we want you to be general manager of Raw starting tomorrow." And, he offered me a deal, and I said, "Well, I still want to wrestle." And he said, "Well, we'll get around to that eventually. Don't worry about that. We'll get there." And I said, "Okay, as long as I know I'm going to wrestle." And so, I got the offer the night before at the Hall of Fame. The next day is when I started the general manager job.
Did you have a conversation with Vince or anyone about, what your status was and how you were being featured? Because it did feel like you're here at this point, not necessarily to be the star, but to help build the next star. And coming in with your pedigree and your history, and, for lack of a better word, your ego as an athlete, you probably expect, hey, this is not the way this usually goes. Do you have a sit down at all with Vince and discuss your direction? Or is this just something you just have to sort of read between the lines and figure out on your own?
Coming back to the company, I came back, very humbly, and I was grateful they brought me back, because I didn't know if or when they were going to bring me back. When you make a lot of mistakes in your past, it's going to catch up to you in the future. So I never really talked to Vince about the direction he wanted to go with me. I just kept my mouth shut, listened, and did what I was told.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.